In this video, we're talking all things earn because we are now live on the mainnet, and I'm joined by one of the founders of Power City. This guy knows the protocol like the back of his hand. So with no further ado, let me bring up Mr. Just Ask Jesse.
Hey, y'all.
Good to see you, man. Exciting times, exciting times. What has just happened? Let us know.
For the Power City team, it's been an extremely long day. Contrary to popular belief, stuff like this isn't copy paste launch good to go, right? There's a ton of things that go into making a DeFi protocol. They're pretty they're the largest types of protocols, right? They're not just tokens. So it's exciting to get the next native stablecoin, the Pulse chain, launched out there, fully redeemable, always redeemable for $1 for the plsx. And seems the community likes it too. We're going to walk through some things and show you some cool stuff inside of both the core and earn protocol.
Sure. Yeah, shout out to everyone on the Power City team. Been working, probably haven't slept for the last couple of days getting this sorted. So here we are. Let's pull up the protocol and take a look at it, right, shall we? Okay, so here we are on the earn dashboard. What are we looking at here, Jesse?
All right, let it pop up here. 1 sec. I don't see anything on your screen, by the way.
Okay, so we can see the dashboard. If we look at the earn dashboard, we can see that. So are you looking at the YouTube link, or are you looking at this one?
All right, I see it now. All right. So here, what you see is the dashboard, the first page you come to when you go to earn.powercity.io. All right. We kept all the main functions easy to locate on one single page. The main functions, right? So at the top there, you see there's the vault area. You're welcome to put in some plsx, collateralize that, and mint some PXDC right there in that top rectangle. Right? Maybe you choose to put some PXDC into the stability pool. That's that second rectangle right underneath. While you're in there, you're going to be earning some earn tokens. You'll see it. There's almost 32 million earn tokens remaining. Those are getting emitted out to all the stability pool participants for simply dropping your stable coins into there. All right. And the next section below that is where you would stake, if you want to, any accumulated earn tokens. And while you're staked in there, you're collecting a couple tokens. You're collecting PXDC every time somebody mints some PXDC. And once redemptions are turned on 2 weeks from now, you'll start collecting the fees from redemptions, which is plsx. So there's a number of places where you can place tokens, put your plsx to work, and earn other things and spend those however you like. Now, if you are eligible for some sort of claim, right here in this earn statistics, you're going to see down at the bottom, which you won't see on this one, but down at the bottom, you'll see a green button right there that says claim. All right. You hit that, you're going to be claiming earn tokens every block, or as often as you hit that button and pay the gas, you're going to be claiming earn tokens for the next 6 months. Okay? Your allotted earn tokens, if you're eligible, release out to you for that full 6 months, proportionally to everybody else who's also releasing out to them for the next 6 months. So if you like on time, a couple reasons for that. Everybody's
Sorry, Jesse, your mic has gone a little bit distorted.
How about now?
Better, yeah.
All right. So you're always still proportional to the other claimers because they're also releasing out over 6 months. But we feel that it's a good way to make the protocol very sticky, make people come back. If you want to use the protocol, you're going to come back and use it over and over and over for 6 months. Who can resist hitting a claim button at least once a day or every couple of days hard, right? Free airdrop every block. For the next 6 months.
Sorry, man. Your mic is going on and off. It's I'm not sure if there. Talk now.
So you have
That's
a free claim available to you for the next 6 months. Quite cool, in our opinion.
awesome. So let's go back to basics and let's just talk about the main function of the protocol, which is obviously utilizing your plsx. We've got nearly 200 volts open, 193 volts open at the moment. Let's say someone's holding some plsx and they're thinking, I don't want to sell because there's possible price appreciation in the future, so I want to hold on to it, but I still need some liquidity. What can people do? What's the basic function?
Yeah, so people like the biggest tokens on Pulse Chain, right? And we feel Richard Hart tokens are really cool, and people don't typically want to let go of them. Yeah, you always have sellers and dumpers. Well, this protocol allows the people who like the tokens to maintain them, and the people who would otherwise sell to also maintain them if they choose, and just collateralize against them instead for some value in a different way, right? So if you like PulseX and you don't want to sell it, you can come in here and you can put it in the vault backing some stable coins that you mint. The minimum mint is 500. And you have to maintain a collateral health of at least 110%, preferably much higher unless you'd like to get liquidated pretty quickly, because if you've seen Pulse Chain, things can move up and down, 8, 10, 15% in a single day fairly easily, right? So maintain some good collateral health and monitor your position. And if you put in PulseX and you mint some stablecoins against that, let's say PulseX does a 10x. Look, all of those coins that you put in there, those are still yours. They still belong to you. You now just have 10 times more collateral health than you used to have. So you can mint more stable coins. You can always withdraw the excess collateral if you want to. You can pay back a loan, the stable coins. You can mint more. You can do whatever you want as long as you stay over 110%.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really important. A point that you touched on earlier is the lower barrier of entry of $500, because Liquidity and other forks have a $2,000 barrier. So let's talk a bit about that $500 minimum loan amount.
Yeah. So from our research, we noticed that there's a ton of PulseX holders, and we felt that while you can take a loan of 500 and be perfectly fine, right? There's nothing in the protocol that's like, if you're under 2,000 or under 1,000 or whatever, all of a sudden the protocol becomes dangerous. As long as everybody stays over 110 or over 150 as an average, right? So there's nothing wrong at all about, okay, $500 minimum loan, 500 PXDC. The reason why we feel that the Liquidity protocol did it is because of gas prices. If there was, imagine running a transaction, running a liquidation or a redemption function or something, and your gas price is $200, $250, in the height of the bull market. It doesn't make any sense at all to have that smallest loan that you're trying to, that liquidate on, pay you almost nothing. You're paying more gas than you're receiving back from the gas set aside fee and from the size of the loan itself. But on something like Pulse Chain, where all the transactions are like a penny or less, 500 is perfectly acceptable. Everyone's still going to continue using the protocol, hitting all the buttons. If somebody becomes eligible for liquidation, somebody's certainly going to come in and pay a penny or less to hit that button and liquidate that person, send those that liquidation to the stability pool. Like, it's fine because it's a cheap chain. It's not fine necessarily on ETH, but it's perfectly acceptable on Pulse Chain.
Yeah, with those cheap gas fees, it's going to be a lot easier compared to obviously the gas fees that we've seen on Ethereum, and now we're seeing them again as the markets start to move upwards. I also want to talk about 0% interest because some people still find it hard to wrap their head around that concept.
Yeah.
Let's touch on that.
Yeah. So with like a bank, if a bank is going to give you their money, which is oftentimes other people's money, other people's deposits, or whatever, right? But it's still money in their possession, under their custody. They're going to give it to you. They ain't going to give it to you for free. They're going to give it to you so they can make money off of you. And they do that by charging you an interest. You see that with credit cards. You see that with loans from a bank, any kind of loan from a bank. They are going to just continuously charge you so that the money they gave you, they're making money on it, right? Now, the difference between that and a DeFi protocol like this is nobody's giving you the money except code. You put up the backing to mint your own loan. So there's nobody there that has to charge you a recurring fee. And it wouldn't even be right for like a team or something to charge you a recurring interest rate when it wasn't our money to begin with, right? So all you do is you put up your own backing, you mint your own loan. There are still other parts of the protocol that people must participate in, such as the stability pool, which is there to absorb liquidations. And then you've got the staking pool, which is what people are chasing after from the rewards from the stability pool, right? So they're putting those earn tokens over into the staking pool. Those people have to be able to get something because they are supporting the network. So all you have to do instead of a recurring interest rate is charge just a single one-time little fee that shaves off from the stable coins that are minted and gets paid to the stakers of the earn token. You do that and everybody's happy. You'll have the people supporting the system over here in the stability pool and staking pool. And then you'll have the people over here taking loans that are happy because they don't have a recurring interest rate that they have to pay.
And I think I've heard you talk about this a number of times. Why would you need to pay interest on the loan that you created for yourself? You're borrowing from yourself by putting up your own collateral. So
right. What is funny about that is 401ks will do that to you. You got to pay yourself interest. But that's a whole nother story here. And it just doesn't make sense to do it with crypto.
So what can we expect in the early days? I mean, people are going to be locking up their plsx. More vaults are going to be created already. You know, while we've been on stream, we're seeing a number of vaults being created. More money's
worth of plsx. It looks like. Yep.
Sorry.
It looks like $10 million worth of plsx locked up in vaults
already in early days. So
a few hours old.
Yeah, a few hours old. So we've talked about the main function. Obviously, you can lock up, and we're going to be seeing more vaults locking up their plsx and getting the PXDC stablecoin. What about when you get that PXDC stablecoin? Obviously, you can do what you want. You could, go and buy something else, but you've also got the stability pool there too, right?
Yeah. So this stability pool, again, you could just drop your stablecoins into that stability pool, park them in there. You're there to absorb if there's any liquidation. So basically what happens is if any of those vaults falls under 110, it's going to get liquidated. The plsx that they put up as collateral, the value of their plsx has already fallen really, really close to the value of the stable coins they minted. So they're going to lose that, right? Because they already have those stable coins, right? They're going to get liquidated. They already got those stable coins, and their backing cannot fall underneath that value of what they just minted, right? So they'll get liquidated. The plsx migrates over to the stability pool participants and proportionally just gets spread across all of them. And their stable coins burn to cover the debt of the person who is liquidated. Now, when that happens in the stability pool, however many stable coins are burned, you'll receive 10% more value, or actually 9.5% more value worth of plsx, right? So if your stability pool position was like 100 PXDC, and let's say one of your PXDC got burnt out of there, you'll notice that you now have 99 PXDC, but you have $1.09 worth of plsx that you just accrued at that moment, right? So you just made 9 cents, right? So that's how the stability pool works. It's one place that you can put your stable coins to work. There are other places you can put your stable coins to work. There are 2 incentivized liquidity pools. One of them is for the stable coin. So PXDC paired to plsx. On plsx V2, you can go liquidity provide those 2 tokens, plsx to the PXDC. Get that LP token, bring it back in here into the utilities tab.
Sorry, man, your mic's gone a little bit distorted again. Can you try and move it around?
Yeah, click on the utilities. Click on utilities.
There you go. Okay. So we'll go down to utilities, right? Yep.
Yep, at the top there?
Yeah.
All right, so check it out. If you're staking plsx paired to PXDC in V2, you'll get back an LP token, which you can come here and you can stake. That will give you or emit out to you some earn tokens for staking those. All right. The other option is if you have earn tokens and you have some plsx, you can go to plsx V2. You can stake those. You can bring those LP tokens back here and stake them here, and you can get earn tokens. So essentially, you could put your earn to work to get more earn.
Yield on top of yield.
People like to do that with Hex. We also notice that people need things to do with their earn token. There's other protocols where it's like, well, people just like to, maybe they just like to put it into the staking pool, and like that's the only thing to do with it. We like the idea of people doing lots of things with their tokens. So you can always stake your earn tokens in the staking pool, or you can go LP with them and get those LP tokens and come bring those back and stake them for more earn tokens.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple ways, isn't there? There's so many different differentiations that you could do. But the fact you have all these options, whether you want to be a stability provider, you want to stake, or you want to provide liquidity, there's options for you to earn yield. Let's talk about the earn staking pool as well.
Yeah. So simple. You just, if you have earned tokens, whether you've claimed them, you've bought them, you've earned them from the stability pool, your friend gave them to you, it doesn't matter where you got them. You can bring them, you can stake them in here, and while you're in there, you're going to be earning PXDC as well as plsx. Quite simple. Claimable at any time. There's no staking length or anything like that.
So basically, when you're staking in the earn staking pool, you're a fee collector. You're collecting fees every time somebody uses the system. There's going to be a small fee to pay in either plsx or PXDC for either opening a vault or redemptions, and those go to the stakers. Correct?
Yep, absolutely.
Let's answer this question because this has come up a few times. And what is PXDC backed by, at what ratio, and how does that compare to other pulse chain stables?
So PXDC is backed entirely by plsx tokens that people have put into the vaults. So, for example, let's go up here and we see that we have 194 billion plsx, which is almost $10 million worth of plsx. All right. And the PXDC supply is just over 3 million. So we have almost $10 million backing 3 million PXDC. That's how that works. People put up the collateral, which is plsx, that backs the stable coins that are minted. And It's all user driven. Users can select any collateral ratio or health that they desire, so long as they're over 110. And as an average across the system, it forces the average of everybody to steer over 150. Okay. So there's a special mode that comes in if it dropped below 150, which prevents anybody from being able to lower the health. They can only conduct an action that increases the health. So there's always that. So there's typically always at least 150% value over and above the stable coins that are minted.
Yeah.
Every single stable coin minted is fully redeemable. It doesn't matter where you got the stable coin. If you have some and you wish to redeem it, you could come to this protocol and click redemption, redeem as many as you want, and get the same equivalent value of plsx back. So if you had 10 stable coins and you redeem those, you would get $10 worth of plsx. That turns on after the first 2 weeks. It's not on at the start, but after the first 2 weeks, it turns on. And that, by the way, is a very important mechanism for maintaining the peg. Because on a DEX, these stable coins trade just like any meme token would. If people dump a lot, well, it goes down in value. If people buy a lot, it goes up in value. The DEX doesn't know the difference. It's just a token, right? But the people know a difference. And when you see a stable coin that's at 95 cents and you know that you can redeem that for $1 elsewhere, you buy it. And it goes right back to $1 because you bought it, right? So that's what maintains the peg, is it's always redeemable.
It's always over collateralized and redeemable, which is in complete contrast to TradFi or legacy finance, which is fractional banking, which if there was a bank run, they couldn't pay for everyone's money in the bank.
Yes.
We're looking at a nice, healthy collateral ratio, a TCR of at the moment 320%. And you said around probably obviously 150 is recovery mode where things certain functions aren't possible, but a total collateral ratio of around 320% is healthy. We're over 3 times of what's been minted.
I think so. People do need to understand that there is this redemption function, right? Where does the redemption function come from? Or where does the plsx that goes to a redeemer come from? It will always pull from the lowest collateralized vault. If the lowest collateralized vault is 150% and the rest are much higher, okay. And somebody comes and redeems 10 stable coins, it's going to pay off the debt of that 150% guy or $10 worth of his debt and take out $10 worth of his plsx and give it to that redeemer. So at that moment in time, that 150% guy who's at the bottom of the totem pole, he hasn't really lost anything because he had $10 of his debt paid off by some benevolent entity. You could argue that it's benevolent because somebody paid your loan off, but he also lost $10 worth of his collateral, so it's a wash. The math is interesting because it actually makes his collateral health go up. When you pay off at the same time as removing some collateral, you'll see that the collateral health goes up. So maybe that guy ends up with, 155% collateral health after that, right? He was at 150, and then after that redemption, he's at like 152 or 155 or something, right? So it's interesting. Redemptions will always raise the collateral health of the vaults that it's redeeming. In some cases, pay them off completely, and it always happens from the lowest collateralized vault up. If you do not wish to be redeemed against, don't be near the bottom. You want to put yourself closer to the top. You kind of look where everyone else is and say, well, I don't want to be redeemed. Put yourself up there around 500%, 1,000%, whatever you want. That's how that system works. And there are times of volatility where PulseX is on a really fast run. Redemptions may pick up, right? It's inevitable. People are going to see that the protocol does not take the instant right now spot price. It cannot, because then it would be subject to like flash loan attacks and real fast liquidations, right? So we got to avoid that, right? So there's always a bit of a gap between the spot price and the price that the protocol is ingesting, but it should be very, very close unless some whale guy just puts PulseX on a tremendous run really, really fast. There's going to be times where people are redeemed against during those times, and it just is what it is. This is a young chain. It is volatile. If you don't wish to be redeemed, put yourself at the top.
I mean, I think that goes for everything, right? If you don't want to be liquidated or redeemed against, have a nice, high, healthy collateral ratio, and then you can sleep safely at night. I want to get into collateral ratios in a second of individual vaults, but before we do that, I think a few people are still wondering about how to claim. So if you are eligible to claim any earn tokens, come over to earn.powercity.io. You'll see this earn stats box, and if you are eligible to claim, when you connect your wallet, you'll see a claim button here, and you have to click on that and follow the instructions. There's a video on our YouTube, so if you do need to know how to do that, it's a simple process, but there's a quick video showing you how to do that in 1 minute. So come over to the dashboard, the earn stats box, and if you are eligible to claim, you will see something down here in the bottom right hand corner. So Jesse, talking about collateral ratios earlier, we know the minimum collateral ratio is 110%, but if you're sitting at 111, 112, that's still risky if the market turns against you.
It depends on how you define risk. Some people love their token so much that they don't want to lose it, even if it dips 50%. Okay. Now, I'm not telling people to be risky. People need to always be safe. But it's interesting to look at protocols like this, and there are times where people will purposely collateralize themselves very low. And you'll see a big dip. You'll see a 30% dip. And like towards the beginning of that dip, you'll see a guy get liquidated and everybody's making fun of him. Oh, look at that guy. He got liquidated. Why would he do that? Well, he just had a stop loss and the price kept going down and he buys back in at a lower price, right? So there's always those guys. If you're one of those advanced users, you know, you're on a little bit of a different level from other people. In general, you know, like Richard says, sometimes buying and holding a good asset in not trading is the best play. So for those people, it's probably best to just over collateralize a bit, keep yourself as safe as possible, and avoid liquidation.
Yeah, I mean, it's nuanced. Obviously, people hear the liquidation and they also freak out. They think, you know, liquidation, they think of liquidation in some sort of leverage trading. Why it's different in the earn protocol is you get 90% of the value up front. So
you already got it. Yeah. So if you've ever played around on a leverage trading platform, KuCoin or something, right? You go in there with a bucket of money in like the futures market and you leverage it up. And if the price moves against you, you could literally lose everything you put up, right? You put up $1,000, you leverage it 5 times, you are, 5 times more likely to get liquidated if the price moves against you, right? And you'll lose everything. This is different. It's like inverse of that. You're over collateralized. You don't put up $1,000 and you're playing with 5,000. You put up 5,000 and you're playing with 1,000. It's like inverse, okay? And you already mint those stable coins up front. The only time if you're liquidated and you were to lose that PulseX, you lose it right at the point right above where you've already minted those stables. If you minted 1,000 stable coins, the only time you would lose your plsx is if 1,100 or 1,100, your plsx that's up as collateral is only worth $1,100, 10% over. Okay, what did you lose? $100. So you put your value to work for you. You took that $1,000. You're in the stability pool. You're in the liquidity pools. You're on PHUX protocol in those stablecoin pairs. You're earning with your value. And in the event, if you were a degen and you kept yourself pretty low pretty low collateralized, and you let it get down to 110 and you're liquidated, what are you actually out? You already have those stable coins. You're playing with them, and you're probably making money on them unless you bought a coin that went to zero with it, right? So always be careful. Do your research. But a liquidation in here is not the same thing as a liquidation on a leverage trading platform.
Exactly. And something you touched on earlier, obviously not financial advice, but if the markets kept going down and you're holding your stable coins, there's an opportunity in theory to buy in and get a bigger position that you had before. So there's multiple plays, which is interesting.
100%.
Let's have a look at the Risky Vaults page and have a chat about this, because up here at the top we can see Risky Vaults and we touch on this. Let's talk through this.
All right, so let's take a look. So we've got people at 120, 130, 144%. We saw a minute ago the average was in the 300s. So we've got a range anywhere from 120 up to go to the last page. Probably, let's see how the safest guy looks.
$2,031%.
All right.
So he's got a debt of 1,055 PXDC, and the collateral he's put in over 400 million.
Yeah.
plsx.
So pretty broad range there. You know, for these guys to be liquidated. And by the way, you can always avoid liquidations by just adjusting your vault. If you're like, oh, I don't like the way the markets are turning right now, pay back your loan. If it makes you feel that bad, pull out your stable coins from wherever you have them and go pay them back.
Or you can adjust it. I've got some videos coming out in a couple of days. You can adjust your vault in two ways. Either you can pay back some of your loan, your PXDC, or you can add some more collateral to increase your collateral ratio. So you obviously can pay back your full loan, but you can adjust it as well if you don't want to pay it all back.
Yep. Or if you're one of these guys and you're like, wow, I'm super over collateralized, I'm probably safe to mint some more stable coins. Mint some more. Or pull some of that excess plsx out. Go put it somewhere else if you choose.
So in theory, if there was a vault that was below 110%, someone could come in here and liquidate these. Yep.
So let's say there's a vault that's at 110. Let's say this guy, the market drops another 10%, and that guy's doing nothing. And you're like, oh, he's at 110.3. There he goes. And you're just staring at it. If you're the one that's able to hit the liquidate button, the little trash can to the right, and sign the transaction before anybody else, you are going to get $50 or 50 PXDC. That's for you to keep. That's his gas set aside. That recoups you for gas. You may have only paid a penny for gas, but you're going to get $50. All right. You're also going to get 0.5% of the entire liquidation. So in this case, he's got a debt of 35.67. You're going to get 0.5% of that. The rest of the plsx is going to migrate over to the stability pool, and some of their stable coins are going to burn, and they'll collect the plsx in exchange for that. But you got free money. You just click the button, got $50 plus 0.5%, and you go on your way. Now, it's very likely that people will spool up bots to run these. that just monitor these positions, and then it's like impossible to hit these buttons. It happens on every Liquidity fork. There's no way to prevent it. It is what it is. But good luck.
Actually, something else I want to talk about is, and this is just a UI thing, but if you're opening a vault, and as you can see in these risky vaults here, right, you have a collateral ratio that's orange. Once you're over 150%, it goes green. So the orange is showing you if you're below 150%. Obviously, green is showing you you're above it. And why that's safe and why that is green is because even if the system goes into recovery mode, if you're over 150%, you can't be liquidated. So, you know, obviously it's up to everyone what they want to do, but being over 150% is kind of wise all the time. If they want.
Yeah, so that's a rare case where there are vaults between 110 and 150 that can be liquidated. And that's if the overall average of the entire system is under 150.
Yeah.
But you have to know that only 110% of the value of the stable coins they minted is ever taken. So even in those cases, let's say this guy at 149%, 149.2% was liquidated. That doesn't mean he loses 88,527,000. No, he's going to lose only the value of the stable coins he minted plus 10%. Yeah, and he'll have an excess claimable available to him. And that's a very rare case. If the entire community decides to become super degens and the average goes under 150, it's not likely to see that often. I think Liquidity saw it like one single time. We may never see it. We don't know, right?
Let's so we've had a look around, and we've also got the core here that you wanted to touch on. So let's just.
So there's free stuff everywhere, right? We talked about free stuff in the liquidity pools. If you decide to be a liquidity provider with your earn tokens, you're going to get more earn tokens. Be a liquidity provider with your PXDC, you're going to get earn tokens. Be in the staking pool with your earn tokens, you're going to get plsx and PXDC. Or sit in the stability pool and you're going to earn tokens, right? There's free stuff all around. And not to mention the people who have claims available, you're going to get earn tokens every single block for the next 6 months. It's a lot of free stuff. But it doesn't end there. For the rest of eternity, the people who are staked at any time are receiving a portion of the fees from Earn protocol. Now, turn the dark mode on if you could. Down at the bottom right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Looks much more beautiful. Now, check this out. Click on, there's a new button available on this. On this is our core staking platform. Remember when we built this, we said that at least a portion of all the fees of everything we build is going to flow to the core. Maybe not everything, right? Because Earn protocol is unique. For example, it's got to have fees doing its thing inside of its protocol. But we've always said that fees from all our things are going to flow to the core. So plsx fees, for example, our cross-chain aggregator swap. This has fees, and they all flow straight to Pulse and into the core, to the core stakers, which just got activated today. Everyone's been asking, when fees? When fees? How come there's no fees? I'm not earning anything. Well, guess what? Today it all got turned on. The plsx fees, the Earn protocol fees. The next thing to launch will be Amplifier with its fees. Then you'll see Pixel Park and all its fees. There's a number of whitelisted tokens that flow into the core and get distributed across the stakers. So go ahead and click on that new tab at the top called Collect.
Collector.
Yep. Things start to get super interesting. This is new. Now, this is available to the community. Come hit this button. You'll see that PXDC, there's 81 PXDC available. If somebody hits that collect fees button, those 81 PXDC proportionally go to all of the stakers in the core ready for them to claim. This number continuously goes up all the time, right? Because every time somebody takes a loan, for example, over an earn protocol, there's like one position that's staked, that's collecting its fees and flowing them straight to the core, right? There's like, imagine one guy over there staked, and that one guy is a contract, and that contract feeds the core, right? So it's not like all of the fees or anything. It's one position over there, and it happens to be like 16.5% of the fees, right? So that number continuously goes up. Now, if Matt was to hit the collect fees button, he would sign this transaction. And I don't see the MetaMask pop up, but it might just be how he has his browser.
Oh, yeah, it's not sharing, but yeah, my MetaMask has popped up, so I have to sign the transaction, pay a small gas fee. So unfortunately, it's not showing on here because if I share then I stop sharing this screen. But my MetaMask popped up.
Yes, you can X that out. That's fine. And those now 112 PXDC proportionally go to the participants who are currently staked. And they have a little button that they can hit to claim those to their wallet, right? Now, the stats on this so far, reward pool, $62,171 worth of value has flowed through to the stakers so far. And that number is just going to keep going up. You'll see fees collected, $4,316 worth of PXDC. You know, Earn Protocol has been live for what? 384 hours. So $4,300 proportionally across the stakers. Pulse, there's been 414,840 and some change. Pulse spread across all the stakers. So if you're a staker right now, by the way, are you claiming your rewards? You should probably go claim your own personal rewards because somebody's hit this button a bunch and release those out to you for you to go claim.
Well, let's talk about the core a bit more, actually, because someone's just asked what website this is. This is the core.powercity.io. And this is where if you're a staker in the core, a certain portion of the fees of all the Power City dApps are flowing here now and will be flowing here from all future dApps. So let's just touch on that for a bit.
Yeah. So, so this page that we're on now is the collector page. So we talked about that. This is basically.
Let's go back to the dashboard.
So just imagine it like this. Behind the scenes, it works different with the contracts, but just imagine all our dApps are feeding the core. The first stop of those tokens, so to speak, would be that collector tab, where they're held in purgatory until somebody in the community hits that button that we just showed you, that then releases out to all the current stakers those rewards. All right. So if you were ever to end stake, by the way, it probably wouldn't make sense to end stake before looking at that page. I'm not saying to end stake, but we've noticed people are hitting that button all day long now. There's always people hitting that button because you want the value, right? It just so happens when you hit that button, you're releasing to you to claim the value proportional to your position as well as everyone else's. Publicly callable function. So that was also very important to us. We wanted to wash our hands of being like a central party and you all relying on the work of others and all that, right? This is your protocol. Fees flow straight to the collector. You do the work. You hit the button. You release the rewards to yourself and the rest of the community. Not us, right? It's all flowing to the collector. You all do the work. right? So super important for multiple reasons. Okay, now, but what is the core? At its root, the core is where you can stake and you can collect the fees. Click on the stake tab.
So let's go over to here.
And I'm not sure that you have any NFTs or not.
Not on this wallet. No, it's a dummy
okay.
wallet.
Okay, so on here, you can create an NFT. It's a state. You're creating a stake, represents itself in the form of both a JPEG picture as part of the NFT, as far as some, and as well as some data points that show your share rate, your AMP rate. All right, and then your position as a staker. All right. You can merge your stakes, you can transfer your stakes, you can sell them on secondary marketplaces. Your stakes will collect rewards, collect fees. You'll see a little present button at the top that's kind of like a Santa Claus thing, like waving at you. If you have rewards claimable, you click it, and any of the fees that have flown inside of your stake, you can release out to your wallet by hitting that button and signing a transaction. So it's a cool way for people to have some game theory about their share rates and when did they get in versus when other people got in, and what's the current share rate, and can you get bonuses on your share rate for staking your PLP tokens? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. By the way, we like to see the community participate in liquidity providing and earn and with Watt, right? So you can come in here and you can stake your POP tokens from liquidity providing with Watt, get some bonuses on your share rates, and there's just a bunch of game theory there. This is our central place where you can form all your stakes and collect the fees.
So as it stands right now, we have plsx swap, which is a bridge DEX aggregator. Fees from that are flowing in there. Earn is now live. Fees from that are now flowing into the core. And obviously we have other dApps coming. We have Amplifier, we have Pixel Park. So all of the Power City dApps, there will be the fees flowing into here. And if you're staking in the core, you're getting a slice of those fees.
100%. So this Earn protocol is probably between that and the core, they're both pretty big, robust builds. But I want to say that all our stuff is kind of this cool. The next thing coming to the community is the amplifier. The amplifier is a front end that will work with both liquid loans and with Earn protocol. And it automates your strategies. So like you'll notice in Earn protocol, you go and you click all these buttons. You're like, oh, do I want to claim my rewards and put them over here? Do I want to swap them for this and put them in this staking pool over here? There's just endless things you can do, right? Some people like that. Other people like to come up with their strategy ahead of time, put out their plan in there.
Sorry, man, your mic is a bit wrecked again. Can you just move it around?
Yep.
Yep. There you go.
Some people like to automate their strategies ahead of time and just let it run and do its thing, right? Amplifier is that thing. It is an automated front end for these liquidity forks. So that should be the next thing coming out to the community. After that, you're going to see Pixel Park, which is beautiful, beautiful. If you like the look and feel of the things we built, if you're an NFT sort of guy, you're going to love Pixel Park. There's a lot of NFT marketplaces on Pulse Chain that are popping up here and there. We started the Pixel Park build, I think, like 2 years ago. Okay, we're not done yet. It is robust. It is big. You can do a lot with it. It looks beautiful, you'll see much of the cool game theory stuff that we have here we love game theory. We don't like degen necessarily game theory because we do believe in revenue over inflation and people collecting fees from protocol fees from usage, as opposed to like, hey, buy this token because it's got a pretty cartoon character on it. We think it will go up. We don't do that. That's not what we do. We build cool things, right? So I think you'll like Amplifier next. You'll also like Pixel Park.
Yeah, that's the whole ethos of Power City, revenue over inflation, right? So you're not just getting more of the same thing and then diluting yourself. Things are coming because work's being done. People are using our dApps and they're providing value. And obviously people pay a small fee for those, and those fees flow back into the core. So the core really is the hub of that. And like I said, we've got PortalX that's out now. The fees are flowing from there. Earn fees are flowing from there, and Amplifier's coming soon, Pixel Park's coming soon, and possible other future dApps that we haven't announced yet. So exciting times for Power City. There's talk about the Watt token and AMP shares and stuff. Can we touch on this for a bit, AMP shares and how they work in the core?
Yes. So AMP shares will fluctuate based on various market conditions. You will see people they've actually ended their stake, repurchased, and come back in and have more shares than they started with. So they will fluctuate. You'll simply have to watch, and there are some people who you will never be able to pass. The earliest of participants, who have like 2x bonuses, you'll never catch up with those folks. If they were to end their stake, though, you lose the current AMP share rate, just like any other staking platform, whether it's Hex or whatever. If you end a stake, you no longer receive the fees because you're not staked. And any of the fee share that you had, you no longer have. All you have back is your original tokens, right? So if you like your current share rate, don't end your stake ever, because you'll lose it, and maybe you won't get it back. Maybe the market moves against you, and you'll never be able to recoup that share rate. So always keep that in mind. There are ways to plus up your share rate by being like a staker of PLP tokens, for example. You can get some bonuses to try and let's think about that for a second. Liquidity providing, there's always a chance of impermanent loss, right? You're putting up 2 tokens. One might run, the other one might not. You'll be left with more of the one that didn't run and less of the one that ran, right? And that you can come out with a loss by being a liquidity provider. Typically, if something goes sideways, both coins go sideways, you're just earning fees along the way, and you can come out either break even or ahead. But there is a risk of impermanent loss. So what platforms do is they compensate you. They reward you for being liquidity providers. So for example, on PHUX protocol, if you're over there and you're liquidity providing, you're earning an incentive token. You're being emitted out, PHUX tokens while you're in the liquidity pools. There's certain pools on plsx, same thing. You're being emitted out incentive tokens while you're participating in staking certain PLP tokens. Not all of them, but certain ones. So that is intended to compensate you for that impermanent loss. It's usually not just a free thing, like here you go. It's like, because sometimes you're collecting that and you're still just breaking even the whole time. But what we didn't want another token that just emitted out to people for people to dump. So we said, well, how do we incentivize people and still get them to participate as being liquidity providers? And we said, we had this aha moment. We just give them a bigger share of the fees. The fees are coming in the form of PXDC and Impulse and of Earn token or of PulseX or Pixel token or whatever it is, right? And if people are already in the core or they're liquidity provider, that means they like what the core is all about. So they have to like what the fees. That's the whole point of the protocol. Fees flow to the core. So why not just give them a bigger percentage of the fees while they're a liquidity provider? And that aha moment is when we said, oh crap, all we got to do is have them stake the PLP tokens and give them a boosted AMP share rate. Simple.
Yep. I mean, obviously it flows, things flow into the core, and like we said, that revenue over inflation is super important. And the fact that we haven't touched on, which I want to talk about, is actually that you don't have to unstake your stake if you want to sell it as well. You can sell it on an NFT marketplace, such as Pixel Park, which is coming.
100%. Super important, because some people, you may be able to get a premium, for example. Maybe you like your stake. Maybe it's a special number. Maybe it's number 10, and people want number 10, stake number 10 that was ever made or something. Or maybe it's got a really cool JPEG, picture of an AI robot that people really like. Or maybe it's got a whole bunch of fees inside of it, and you didn't ever want to claim those fees out of there because you knew that the stake value just goes up and up and up. Its baseline value is going to be the underlying watt plus the fees that are in it. But maybe you could get a premium on it because of the AMP share rate that's attached to it. So something that's worth, $1,000, maybe you feel you can sell it for $1,200 on a secondary marketplace because it's got a bunch of special stuff or a great AMP share rate. Go sell it. Cool. Now, contrary to popular belief, I will be a little bit contrary here. That doesn't necessarily mean it reduces sell pressure, but it is a feature that everyone should have available. If you'd like to sell a stake, cool. We created a way for you to sell your stake. But like I said, and you'll see this in a number of staking platforms where you have transferable stakes that can be sold. Like if you're able to sell something, that also means the buyer is not buying it. Where otherwise the buyer would be buying the price of watt and the value would be going up. Well, now you got a guy who's just selling it basically almost kind of like an OTC, but an NFT marketplace really. And like it's doing nothing to the price, to the value of watt, right? So you got a guy not dumping, but you also got the other guy who's not buying. So it's kind of a wash. You'll hear narratives in the community where, selling stakes on a secondary marketplace makes the price only go up. It's kind of a wash, to be honest. But it is a cool feature that everyone should have available to them because there's cool reasons why you might want to do that.
Yep. I mean, even if you have rewards to collect, you can still transfer your stake to another address. This has been great, Jesse. I think we've touched on everything we need to today. Earns live, fees are flowing into the core. I think me and you are going to be back on stream a lot more, talking about different dApps, different functions of certain dApps, going deeper on sets. For example, the stability pool, the staking pool, and all the different game theory, and including the core. So good to get back on stream with you. Anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up here?
Yeah, just get out there and start claiming your rewards. Go into the core, start claiming your free stuff. Go into Earn Protocol, start claiming your free stuff and playing with that. Maybe put some of your plsx to work if you want to. Be safe out there. This has been a long road. We have an overwhelming amount of support from the community, which feels nice. So thanks for the kind words that we get from y'all. It really does keep us going and makes us never stop. We're just going to keep building. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Okay, take care and we'll speak soon.
Thanks.
So a big shout out there to the community, everyone that supported Power City, and a big shout out to everyone on the Power City team who's been working tirelessly to bring what we have already to fruition and what's coming down the pipe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.